This is the second part of this story. In the previous part, we saw that our man Phantom Hive had revealed the real face of Cole to everyone and had become the butler of Clayton. Now when he came out Macmillan with everyone was waiting for him and they were happy for him. Soma was also happy because our man had become part of P4 somehow. At night he was with Michaelis and he complimented our man's hard work. But Phantom Hive was still far from his main mission. Arden, our man wanted to find him because the Queen had sent him to find Arden and the lost students from the school. Phantom Hive still had a long path to go because even after becoming the fag of Clayton he wasn't able to attend the midnight parties with the principal. So, he wanted to get closer to the perfect four and wanted to get information from Gregory. The next day Gregory was making a drawing for Herman, and he was in pain. Pain in the lower back is unbeatable. Everyone was there. And Edgar was teasing Herman, but they were talking about the 4th of June. Phantom Hive asked about it and Joanne started telling him about the annual cricket match. Everyone told him that it was a grand match and all the dorms got excited and anxious about it. Because it was a matter of competition, Edward was excited, but Gregory wasn't interested in this stuff. But Cheslak was fully energetic to compete. Clayton told him that outsiders were also allowed to enter the Eve dinner and Edgar was very excited to dance with hot ladies. Suddenly our man noticed that Gregory was making other sketches and making Herman suffer. Edgar said that Lawrence was the only one who never got close to any girl because he had a lot of real sisters. Joanne asked about his siblings and Lawrence told him that he had 3 elder sisters and 4 younger sisters. Oh yeah, a lot of sisters. Lawrence was the only man. Gregory was still making other sketches, and Edgar asked about Phantom Hive's fiancée, Edward's sister. Edward said she was coming at his invitation, not at Phantom Hive's invitation. Edgar asked if he had done anything naughty with Elizabeth and Edward got angry. Phantom Hive was shy and Cheslak asked him not to be shy, but Edward also got angry again. Suddenly Herman stood up and said the 4th of June's match would be a grand opportunity for the dorms and he'd nail it. Gregory was still making his sketches and Phantom Hive was stressed, but he had to talk with him, and it didn't work. He wanted to know about his mission and so he said it'd be difficult to compete against his friend in another dorm. Cheslak asked about him and he called the name Arden. All the perfect four were shocked to hear that name. There was silence for a minute and Phantom Hive got a scary response. But their butlers were normal and Phantom Hive realized that something was off there. The perfect four started talking about Arden and that he was a superhuman, who was best in everything, and when he asked about Arden's speciality he got 4 answers from them and they said the principal decided to transfer him from Red House to Violet House. He was shocked to see that the P4 was very sure about the principal's decision and he got nothing more to know from them. He was sure that the P4 was hiding something from him but he couldn't anymore now. So he went to Edward in person and asked about Arden. He gave him some information but that wasn't enough. He was about to leave, and Edward asked if he was a watchdog. But Phantom Hive didn't give him any serious answer and left. Now our man went to Macmillan and asked about Arden and got some information. All the students came to know more about the P4, but he refused and left. He went to other students and asked them the same questions but got nothing new to know. Soma came to him, and he was thinking about his information and Gregory was watching him. Michaelis was going with Johann, and they were also talking about Arden and suddenly Johann slipped and fell. Johann also gave Michaelis nothing and he was also stressed. Now in class Michaelis gave him a piece of paper and at night Phantom Hive went to the library. Michaelis hid him because Lawrence came and checked, but he found nothing because Michaelis was hiding him under his coat. They both were angry because they got nothing but the principal decided on it, so Phantom Hive decided to use all the means to get Arden out of the Violet House. They went there and he threw a fire lamp and burned a fire inside the house. It started burning and they were sure that everyone would come out because it was the rule of the school. Suddenly everyone started coming out and Cheslak was rescuing them. Phantom Hive told Michaelis to check for Arden, but he found him nowhere. Phantom Hive came to know that he wasn't there from the beginning and the trouble got more curious. All the perfects came too, and our couple was sure that something was hidden in the hearts of these P4. Everyone decided to help and Michaelis came with water on the elephant. Gregory stopped them but Soma yelled at him and Cheslak tried to get angry, but Gregory stopped him. Everyone started helping and Michaelis was sure that there was something suspicious. Phantom Hive was also stressed, and Macmillan was talking about the 4th of June tournament. He said that the principal would come and would allow a student to attend the midnight party. Phantom Hive asked him more about it. Macmillan started telling him that every year principal attends the match and offers the opportunity to students to attend the midnight party. Phantom Hive asked if he had to win but Macmillan told him that the criteria were different all the years. The principal gave this offer to different students but with great morals. Phantom Hive was thinking and suddenly Clayton came and took two aside. Clayton asked him to join the team for the match and our man was happy. He asked why they chose him, and Clayton said Michaelis preferred him because he was very good at handling the matter with Cole. Phantom Hive got excited and went to him. Michaelis was going, and some students were also there, so he hugged him and formally thanked him. They were pretending to be normal but now they were very close to their real mission of making Phantom Hive close to the principal. Now they both moved to their paths and were hopeful for the new tomorrow. The opening festival was as lively as it was administered. Suddenly Johann asked for everyone's attention and welcomed them. Now he welcomed the perfect four with their teams. Suddenly an earthquake makes everyone stressed, and firstly Greenhouse with their head Herman entered the hall. Elizabeth was cheering for her brother Edward, and suddenly the Red House with their head Edgar came in and all the girls were flat. But the lights turned off and the mysterious house with their head Gregory came in without any door and everyone was scared. Last but not least the blue house with Lawrence entered the hall and Phantom Hive was one of them. He was a little scared, but Elizabeth cheered for him, and Edward was angry. Johann told the heads to lighten the fire and they promised to play fair in the game and light the beautiful light. Johann announced the opening of the match, which will be tomorrow, and now they could enjoy the dinner, and when he was going down, he fell. Greenhouse was busy with eating, Edgar was busy with the hot girls, Gregory was spreading a scary environment, Lawrence was teaching ethics to his team, and suddenly his sisters came and hugged him. He was embarrassed and his sisters started teasing him, and Phantom Hive was shocked that it was the same as Gregory had painted them. Suddenly one of his sisters came to Phantom Hive and started complimenting him because Lawrence had told them about him, and she asked to marry one of her sisters, and Elizabeth came. She introduced herself as his fiancée and she was angry. It was impossible to share your loved one with anyone. Suddenly Edward came and he was angry, but she stopped him, and our man saw Soma and asked how he was chosen, and Soma told him that he was very good at cricket. Suddenly Edgar's uncle came, and our man recognized him and was shocked that Edgar was the same as him. Phantom Hive tried to escape because he was known to his uncle, and Michaelis was also stressed because of this party, and Frances was also bored. She asked him what he was doing being a butler of her son-in-law, and Elizabeth also recognized him, but he stopped her from saying anything. All of them gathered there and came to know that our man was there for a mission. Suddenly Leon told them that he knew about the victory of Blue House in the past, and Macmillan got excited and wanted to know. So, he started telling them that when he was young, he went to Vincent, Phantom Hive's father, he was angry at him, and he was studying his book. Leon yelled at him and told him not to lie on the lawn, but Vincent was also perfect, and he refused to agree with him. They had a little argument and he attacked Vincent, but he was very calm and relaxed. They both decided that whoever would win the match on the 4th of June had to accept an order from the winner, and Leon accepted that and said Vincent had to leave his post, and Vincent wasn't sure about his orders, so leave it on time. Greenhouse lost the match and Blue House won it because of Vincent. Now he was in the garden and Leon went to him and asked for his order. Vincent was shocked to see him and asked him to be his butler, and it was very shocking for Leon to accept, but he had no other option. Everyone was shocked to hear that story, and even Phantom Hive was shocked to hear that his father was also in the Blue House. Elizabeth and Edward were shocked that their father was a drudge, and he told Natamive that he had a special bloodline, so he had to prove himself. Johann came to the mic and asked to announce the brackets of the match. Our man didn't believe in the miracles, so he was sure to win the match. Blue House was against the Red House for the first match, and everyone was very arrogant about their winning. The match began and the Red House was amazing at their skills, and they were a very hard time for our team. Elizabeth and the others were sad, so they started cheering for their team, and Michaelis found them useless and went for his move. Edgar was also amazing, and he was hitting the balls like roses, and his uncle was happy to see his nephew doing so well. Now it was time for a break and Lawrence asked to go next, but Michaelis wasn't there, so Phantom Hive told him not to change the plan. Red House was looking for the chicken pie and they found it. They got it now, served everyone, and the match started again. Michaelis came back and the match also started. Joanne was bowling for Phantom Hive and now it was about to be the last ball, but he suddenly fell. One by one all the players started falling, and Edgar also felt stomachache. Now if we revived it. Michaelis had changed the pie with beef pie, and that was their plan. It was a laxative and they felt diarrhea. Joanne was in a tight condition, but Edgar couldn't help him because he was also helpless. The coach declared the Blue House as the winner, and now it was time for the match between the Green House and the Violet House. Cheslick was doing well, but when Herman came, he changed the wind and won the match. Now the final match was between Blue and Greenhouse. History was about to be repeated. Greenhouse players were doing their best, but Blue House was playing with closed eyes, and Edward was shocked. Suddenly he noticed the trick because Phantom Hive had already made the plan for it. Lawrence was against it, but he argued with him, and he agreed, and the plan was to focus on the music Michaelis would be playing. But Edward came and ruined the plan. Edward thought that he was mediocre, but in reality, he was a genius, and Herman was also proud of him. Suddenly the principal came, and it was time for the next plan. Michaelis left the ground to capture the principal. Subscribe to our channel for the latest updates.